Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lessons from Life. My name is Daniel. If you had met me 5 years ago, you would have seen a man who had everything people usually dream about: a successful business, a beautiful house, a nice car. But what you wouldn't have seen was how completely alone I was. Sometimes the greatest tragedies don't happen in a single day. They happen little by little, until one morning you realize you've become a stranger to the people you love. This is the story of how my family fell apart, and how one heartbreaking moment brought us back together. Growing up, my parents always told us one simple lesson: no matter what happens, family comes first. When I was young, I believed those words. But adulthood has a strange way of changing priorities. My younger sister Emma moved to another state after college. My older brother Michael became obsessed with expanding the family construction business. I accepted a high-paying corporate job that demanded almost every hour of my life. At first, we promised we'd stay close. Weekly phone calls became monthly messages. Monthly messages became birthday texts. Eventually, silence became normal. Then tragedy struck. Our mother was diagnosed with a serious heart condition. The doctor explained that surgery offered hope, but recovery would take months. When Dad called all three of us asking for help, every one of us had an excuse. I can't leave work. My kids have school. I have meetings. I'll come next week. Next week never came. Dad never complained. He simply said, "I understand." Looking back, those two words hurt more than any argument ever could. Months passed. Mom slowly recovered, physically, emotionally. She became quieter. The woman who used to fill every room with laughter barely smiled anymore. She never blamed us. That somehow made everything worse. One rainy Sunday morning, my phone rang. It was Dad. His voice was shaking. "I need you to come home." I had never heard fear in his voice before. I drove 6 hours without stopping. When I arrived, my brother and sister were already there. No one spoke. The silence said everything. Dad led us into the living room. Mom's favorite chair sat empty. She had passed away peacefully during the night. The funeral was the first time our family had stood together in years. Neighbors shared stories about Mom. They spoke about her kindness, her generosity, the way she constantly bragged about her children, even when we rarely visited. I couldn't hold back my tears, not because she was gone, because I realized how much time I had wasted believing there would always be another tomorrow. After the funeral, Dad handed each of us a handwritten envelope. "They're from your mother." She had written them months before she died. She knew her illness could take a turn at any time. She wanted each of us to read our letters alone. That night, I opened mine. Her handwriting was instantly familiar. "Dear Daniel, if you're reading this, don't waste another day feeling guilty. I never wanted perfect children. I only wanted my children to stay connected after I was gone. Success means nothing if there's no one waiting to celebrate it with you. Promise me you'll find your way back to each other." I cried harder than I had at the funeral. The next morning, I found my brother sitting alone on the porch. His eyes were red. Without saying anything, he handed me his letter. Mom had written, "Michael, you've spent your life building houses. Now build a home for your family again." A few minutes later, Emma joined us. She quietly placed her own letter beside ours. Mom had written, "Distance only exists when love stops traveling." None of us spoke. We didn't need to. Mom had somehow brought us together one final time. Before returning to our separate lives, Dad asked for one small favor: help me clean the attic. It seemed like an ordinary request, but inside that dusty attic, we discovered dozens of old photo albums, home videos, birthday cards, school drawings, letters we'd written as children. Every memory reminded us of something we'd forgotten. Not events, each other. One photo stopped me cold. It showed the 5 of us planting a tiny oak tree in the backyard 25 years earlier. I barely remembered it. Dad smiled. "Your mother always said, families grow exactly like trees. They survive storms because their roots stay connected." Before leaving, we stood beside that oak tree. It was enormous now. Its branches stretched high into the sky. None of us realized how much it had grown. Maybe because we'd been too busy growing apart ourselves. Right there, without planning it, we made a promise. No more waiting for holidays. No more excuses. Family first. just like Mom always wanted. Keeping that promise wasn't easy. Life stayed busy. Jobs remained demanding. Children still had school. Problems didn't magically disappear. But every Sunday evening, without exception, we met for dinner. Sometimes at Dad's house, sometimes at mine, sometimes online when someone traveled. The location didn't matter. Showing up did. 1 year later, Dad celebrated his 70th birthday. For the first time in over a decade, every member of our family stood together beneath the same roof. The laughter sounded familiar again. The silence was gone. Even our children, who had barely known one another, were running through the backyard together. Watching them, I realized something. Mom wasn't missing from that celebration. She was the reason it existed. As the evening ended, I walked outside to the old oak tree. The sun was setting behind it. For a moment, the wind rustled through its leaves. It sounded almost like a gentle whisper. Maybe it was only my imagination. Or maybe love has a way of staying with us long after the people we love are gone. Today, whenever someone asks me what the greatest achievement of my life has been, I don't mention my career or my business or the awards hanging on my office wall. I tell them about Sunday dinners, about my brother's terrible jokes, about my sister's homemade desserts, about my father's smile when every chair around the table is finally filled again. Because tragedy taught me something success never could. You can rebuild a business. You can replace a house. You can earn more money. But you can never replace the people who loved you first. So if someone you care about is only one phone call away, don't wait for tomorrow. Call them today. Because sometimes the smallest conversation can save an entire family. Thank you for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe this channel to see more heart-touching story. See you in the next video.